gentlemen, and welcome to another very special episode of Geeks Who Like Sports. This is episode 86, and as always, I am Ray Carcillo in Los Angeles, California. Join my best friend over in the East Coast, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Lee Elias. Lee, how you doing today, buddy?
Ray, I'm finally feeling great. I'm feeling great. I look great if you're watching this. I sound great if you're listening to this, maybe. No, I'm doing much better, buddy. I'm feeling good. Here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, it is nighttime right now. I should say that the sun is down both in LA and Philadelphia. December 8th is the record date. 2020, only a few more weeks of this pitiful year left before everything will magically become okay in 2021.
Yes. Well, I don't know about that, but I do think we will see the end of all of this. It does look like as long as people take their vaccines and as long as we can get enough vaccine out there, I'm starting to get a little worried. It sounds like vaccines are going to kind of be like game consoles.
I thought you were talking about the end of the world for a minute. You're talking about the end of the coronavirus. That's good. That's a good start to the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just. The world's not ending for another 2 years. We got two more years to the end of the world. Yeah,
time to figure it out.
So we got plenty of time there. No, the virus should be coming to an end. Thankfully, if you haven't been paying attention to the news, the vaccine is out there. It is starting to be administered in places such as the UK. It is being administered, I think, shortly in Canada, and then by the end of the month, it should be beginning to be administered out here in the US. There's a whole lot of stuff going on about how making sure we have enough doses and getting them out to people, but. One problem at a time, folks. But the reason why we're starting off things with the coronavirus, and by the way, we have a huge show for you folks. We got our Mandalorian recap. We got stuff with EA Sports. We got Spider-Man, HBO Max, hockey might finally have a start date. NBA does have a start date. We got wrestling to talk about, Age of Calamity, all kinds of great stuff. But we're kicking it off with COVID because we wanted to take a moment to inform folks why Lee was not feeling well through the past couple of weeks. And Lee, I'll let you take it.
It was just a tremendous segue. You would go through, it's like the Age of Calamity. I'm like, yeah, that kind of works.
Yeah.
No, Ray, thank you for the mic. Yeah, no, I want to let everybody know that I was diagnosed and have been through COVID-19. I'm on the other end of it now. I have recovered from it. I was in quarantine for 12 days straight. Symptoms were horrendous. It was horrible. I'm not going to lie to anybody out there. The reason, Ray and I and myself especially debated whether or not we wanted to bring this up because, we've been talking how I was a little under the weather the last few weeks. And I thought it would be better to alert everybody that I had it, to let everybody know kind of like an inside track from someone who's had it. And I'll tell you that I did not have to go to the hospital, thank God, but I had extremely severe symptoms. Now, as many of you know, I am married to a doctor. All right. Had I not been married to a doctor, I would have gone to a hospital. That's how bad I was feeling. Everything from the fatigue to the fevers to the incredible chest compression and everything in between. It was horrible. So the first question everybody always asks me is, well, how'd you get it? How'd you get it? We don't know. And that's maybe the scariest part of the whole thing. I wish I could say that, this person had it. And they gave it to me. We didn't know they had it or they were asymptomatic. We have absolutely no tracing on where this came from, which means I could have got it from an interaction with someone that maybe had it. I could have touched my eye after shopping by accident. It just goes to show you this virus does not care what you're doing or what you're not doing. If you're near someone with it, you're going to get it. And I would not wish this on anybody. So another thing I do want to mention is that when I had it, and I've everybody listening to the show knows that Ray and I are very pro-mask, wearing a mask. But I'll tell you this, when I had it, wearing a mask became beyond second nature to me because I was hell-bent on not giving it to anybody if I could, and I did not succeed at that. So just so everybody knows, my family is safe. My children are safe. They all texted negative, but there were other people that were, interacting with me, and somebody got it. And I felt horrible about that. Now, everyone's been super cool about it, and the person is recovering very well. But it goes to show you, if you don't have it, or you don't know someone that has it, and then you get it and you give it to somebody else, everything becomes extremely real very quick. And I'll tell you this, wearing masks after I got it, and my family wore masks when I had it, kept my family from getting it. And we're in the same house. So it goes to show you how important mask wearing is. It's not just about you not getting it. It's also about you potentially not giving it, whether you have symptoms or not. So if there's any kind of PSA on here, if there's any kind of thing that I've learned about this, it's that coronavirus doesn't care what you're doing. Ray will tell you, and people around me will tell you, I was very careful. I was very on
Yes.
top of this. I still ended up getting it. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this again. It was horrible. All right. If you get it and you're asymptomatic, I really am, I'm happy for you, but it was horrible. All right.
Yeah.
It was not the most sick I've ever felt, but it's the longest I've ever been sick. I can tell you right now, it was 4 days of fatigue, 4 days of a fever, 3 days of not being able to breathe properly. And that came at the end, when you think you're seeing some light. And then even now, while I have no symptoms, there's the residuals that come just after from having it, of being weak and not having moved in 2 weeks and going to have to teach my lungs again. I said this before today kind of jokingly, but also truthfully, I spent 25 years being an athlete and it all just got flushed down the toilet in 2 weeks. And I'm going to have to rebuild that.
You lost 10 pounds, you told me?
I lost 10 pounds. I lost my ability to taste. I forgot to mention that, and smell for a period of time. My taste is back now. My smell is still not 100% back. I did lose 10 pounds, yes.
This is not a weight loss thing you should do, though, folks.
It wasn't a weight loss plan that I wanted.
Yeah.
I lost 10 pounds, but I didn't want to lose it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, long story short, because I know we have listeners on every side of the gamut with this. Not something you want to get. It's very real. I mean, we already knew that. Wearing a mask is not just about you. It's about the people around you. You might feel great and have it, and you could give it to other people. And I'll tell you this. If you have this and you give it to someone, not only are you going to feel horrible, but I'm saying this truthfully. I can see now after having this how it could kill someone, especially older. All right? If I was 30, 40 years older than I am now, I think this could have killed me. All right? I can see how it would have killed me. So that's all. Like, again, you all have to live your life. We like to be open and honest on this show. I've had COVID-19 for 2 weeks. I'm very, very thankful that almost everybody that has contact with me did not get it. One person did. I've been taking care of that person to the best of my ability, just so everybody knows, because I'm somewhat immune to this thing now, which is, a nice side effect, but not something I'd rather have the vaccine.
Right.
All right. And I feel horrible about that. So just think of your fellow brethren, if you will. Remember, wearing a mask is not just about not getting it. It's also about not giving it. I'm still wearing a mask in my home around my family, just to be sure. We waited an extra 48 hours symptom-free before I even came downstairs. Yeah. All right? Being in quarantine for 2 weeks, like true quarantine, when you have kids, again, if you're living on your own, it's a little bit of a different monster. But, I'll say this. It was easy to be quarantined when you're protecting your family. But it's not fun to be away from your family that long. It becomes an inconvenience for your spouse. It becomes an inconvenience for everybody involved. And when you're the center of it, you feel a certain way. Even though everyone was really cool to me, everyone was really awesome and concerned about me that knew about it, even though I didn't tell that many people. When you're patient zero, it's the way it is. So please think twice about wearing a mask, especially right now. I'm saying this to everybody. While cases are skyrocketing around the country right now, think twice about going out. Double down on washing your hands. Again, I could have got this just by touching my face by accident. We don't know how I got it. I can't stress that enough, which is really weird. Okay?
Yeah. No, I mean it's the truth. I mean, and the thing is actually, talking to Lee and actually comparing symptoms. I was super sick last January,
right?
Before we even knew what this was, and now it's suspected that this actually was here in the States December, January. We only really knew what it was. In fact, once China finally announced what was going on,
right?
Which we're not going to get into the geopolitical anything, but the thing is like, me too. I was sick for.
Sorry, I'll say it. It's their fault. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't matter anymore. But
at this point it doesn't matter. But at this point we're all in it together. But I was sick for 2 months. I had a terrible cough. Couldn't breathe.
We didn't know what it was. I remember
we didn't know. My doctors just thought it was the worst case of bronchitis that I had ever had. But I had gotten my grandmother sick and it turned into pneumonia for her. I had gotten my mother sick. Fortunately they're both fine and made full recoveries. But also, my grandma did go to the hospital. And also, speaking of the hospital, my uncle. Got it, because my cousin, I'm not going to throw her under the bus, but I'm going to a little bit, went out to the bar in Jersey with a bunch of her friends, and I get it, she's in her mid-20s, but she didn't know it, she got it, was sick for a couple of days. She had very mild symptoms, but she got my aunt sick. And she got my uncle sick, and my uncle was in the hospital. And we're not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It was very worrying. We were very worried about him for a little bit because he had to go on to. He didn't have to go into the respirator, but he had to have oxygen 24/7 basically.
I'm gonna say this again. I can see how this would kill someone. So again,
Yeah.
I've never had asthma, but for those of you who have had asthma or have asthma, or people who don't, I can tell you that reaching for air and it not being there is extremely unsettling. That's all I can say. All right, to not be able to take a deep breath and to have to learn how to breathe again in a style that's going to let you get oxygen, it's very unsettling and it's not good. And again, I wouldn't wish that on someone to kind of, reach for that. I do want to stress this again. I didn't have to go to the hospital. My blood oxygen was good almost the entire time. I had the comfort of a doctor in my home. All right, I had a lot of blessings here. But even my wife has said my symptoms were very severe for someone in that position. So just look, be vigilant, be smart, wear a mask. It helps. It helps other people and not just you. And again, go back to being as paranoid as you were in March, where you wash your hands every 15 seconds. Yeah. It's probably a smart thing to do right now. And that's probably why I got it. Because I probably let my guard down for a minute. That's probably what it was. All right. It's on me. Again, family's safe. To the person that I gave it to that does listen to this show, I am ashamed that I gave it to you, but you have been so awesome. And you're on the mend, which makes me feel good. But yeah, look, stay safe, everybody. That's the message, guys. Stay safe. You don't want to get it. Stay safe. All right, it's real. It's real.
Especially now with the winter, and we're close to a vaccine. There's light at the end of the tunnel, folks. It's just we got to hold on a little bit longer. Yeah. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
We can do it.
Yes.
Together.
Yes.
Yeah, this is like a legit movie, trailer. If they did in a world where a global pandemic has taken everyone out, one man and another man and a few 100,000 other people will deal with COVID-19. Not coming to a theater near you on HBO Max. Everybody hates it except for Christopher Nolan.
Yes. We are going to get to HBO Max later, but
let's move on from this. Yeah, I had it. I'm better. Let's go.
Yes. Yeah. We're moving on now, but something else that made Lee feel a little better this past couple weeks is The Mandalorian. The tragedy, and all I'm going to say is
spoiler.
Somebody called how this episode was going to for the big beats, some of the big beats.
Right. He's very humble about it.
Yeah, so one of us called it. It was me.
Oh, come on. I've called a bunch of stuff on this show. I'm not going to do that.
That's true.
You did call it.
The big surprise, though, was at the beginning so we knew that they were going to get to Tython. We knew that Baby Yoda was going to be put on the pedestal. And then we were like,
Grogu.
a ship's going to show.
We can say his name. It's
Yes,
Grogu.
I'm sorry. I do the.
He has a name.
Grogu. I know he has a name. I know. But after a year and a half of calling him one thing, now we have to call him another.
His name is Grogu. His name is Robert Paulson. For those of you who like Fight Club. His name is Grogu.
Fans, yeah. But there was two ships that appeared. The first was a complete surprise, but we were super happy it did. I freaked out. I'm pretty sure Lee did too.
I did in my COVID state. Yes.
I was going to say between short and breath.
So I was laying on my couch because that was my bed, making sounds like that. Be like, "You okay up there? It's Slave One."
Yeah,
What's that?
It's the Slave One followed Mando to Tython, and he wants his armor back. He wants his armor.
That's all Boba Fett wants is his armor back.
Yep. Also, we find out that Fennec Shand is still alive, which is great. Very
closing a loop from season 1, which you and I both called that was Boba Fett, by the way.
Yes.
All right.
That who rescued her, and then very Maul-like, she basically has her intestines have been replaced by robot parts,
shiny robot parts,
very shiny,
really
abs
clean
of
in
steel.
There. Yeah, that literally, that's a fair point.
But she had some prosthetics put in, and look, if they can do it with a hand, they can do it with other body parts too. So
that's very fair.
Yeah.
Although I don't think anybody's going to be looking for her intestines like they're looking for Luke's hand, which was found, as was the lightsaber in an expanded universe. Okay, that's too deep for everybody. But
anyway, so Fennec Shand is back, and because Boba saved her, she owes Boba, and Boba's mission is to get his armor back once he realized that Cobb Vanth had it. He had been tracking it. And then he followed Mando. He's been following him for the past few episodes, waiting for an isolated time to discuss it with him.
I've been following you, Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm just a man trying to make my way through the galaxy.
Like my father before me.
Exactly,
Which is another callback.
Yes. So that was great. And he but yeah, obviously it's one of the most epic things that we've been waiting over 35 years for.
You know how you know it's epic? You know how you know it's a big deal? Because the Star Wars fanboys are out in patrol right now, arguing whether this is great or not great, and how is he alive? And then people like, he came out of the Sarlacc, but the Sarlacc burped, so he must have been dead. And I'm like, wow, man, this is how you know how iconic Boba Fett is. You got mid-90s fights that I haven't seen since my youth coming back, when we used to argue before there were even prequels. Yeah, it's awesome.
When it was just expanded universe novels, and it just was. Boba's back.
Alive. Boba's back. Yeah, we knew he was back. That's the funny part.
And he was phenomenal. He used his Tusken Raider staff to absolutely demolish stormtroopers. Then he gets his armor back. He does this amazing too. By the way, spoiler alerts, spoilers. If you haven't seen the episode yet, it's been 6 days. But he does this amazing. He takes out 2 stormtrooper transports with 1 missile. He's got knee pad launchers now. Like, it's just like he just absolutely wipes the floor with 2 squadrons of Stormies. And he just he was amazing. He was fantastic. And Tamura Morrison did a fantastic job playing him. But more importantly, also reveals that Jango was indeed a Mandalorian. He counteracts what was said in the Clone Wars and possibly retcons or clarifies, depending on how much weight you want to put on the Clone War dialogue, that he was a foundling. Jango was a foundling, and then at some point, I guess it's insinuated, he obviously broke away from the Mandalorians.
Well, he fought in the Mandalorian Civil War.
Right.
Which might explain why some Mandalorians don't like him.
Right, and don't think highly of him. Exactly. Right. Depending on what side he was on in the war, might explain why he kind of left into bounty hunting and just kind of left all of that behind. But it also shows that Boba's armor is basically just the repaint of his dad's. He says this is my dad's armor. And he made it his own with a new paint job, basically. But he even shows it Din that, like, look, this is my dad's code. This is mine.
Code,
like, and Mando gave it to him and said it's your armor. But the big thing is that Mando and Boba are gonna team up because
we think they're gonna team up.
We believe they're gonna.
I've been thinking about this more, and I will talk about it in a moment.
Well, because I also put into the planted the seed that there could be a double cross brewing at some point.
Yes,
but. As of right now, Mando has to get the gang back together. We got Cara Dune, who we also get confirmed that badge from earlier in the season. She was officially deputized as part of the New Republic. She's a New Republic Marshal. Navarro, we now assume, is under New Republic protection, even though Greef and Cara are basically in charge. They are I am the law. I am the law.
I am the law.
Yeah.
I like Rob Schneider doing Stallone better than I like Stallone doing Stallone.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah, I am the law.
I am the law. I am the law. Anyway, so, but the reason why is that, as is suspected, the Dark Troopers that we saw a couple episodes ago were sent down by Moff Gideon, and they abducted Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda is now in the hands of the Empire once again. And by the way, Baby Yoda has used again both light and dark side powers this episode. So we still have no idea what's going to happen with him. But yeah, that was huge, and I called it. Said it. Baby Yoda is going to get abducted, and now next.
His name is Grogu.
Grogu, yes. Sorry. Grogu
he has a name. He's not just a Baby Yoda. Say his name. He was abducted. It's like a massive Amber Alert. It's like the worst Amber Alert of all time. Say his name. Grogu, abducted by black stormtroopers in silver ship, traveling on I-95 in the galaxy, whatever that is. All right? Yes. If seen, call 1-800-FIND-A-JEDI.
But yeah, also, by the way, want to clarify that Moff Gideon's ship is not a Star Destroyer. For those of you who might not know, it's it's an Arkatan's light cruiser, which is basically so there's Imperial Raiders or Corellian Corvettes. There's those size ships. Then there's the light cruisers that Gideon has. Then there's the Star Destroyer. So it's a medium-sized ship.
Heavily used in the Clone Wars.
Yes.
And seen many times in the Clone Wars. So it's like this is like just another Filoni Clone Wars Easter egg.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'll just use my ships. Well, what about characters? No, I'll just use my characters. Well, what about artifacts? No, I'll just use my artifacts. It's just like, well, what about the Skywalkers? No, I don't need the Skywalkers. I'll just use my characters.
Yeah.
All of them.
Including new ones that he introduced in this series because Mayfeld made a brief cameo, at least his mugshot did. Yeah, and again, it makes it believe that episode 7 is going to be Mando is going to get in the band back together. He wants Mayfeld to track. He needs to spring Mayfeld from a New Republic prison in order to track Moff Gideon's Arkatan's light cruiser.
Thus confirming our theory that those characters would return in some form.
Yes. So this is going to be a big deal. Next episode looks like a jailbreak, and then episode 8, the season finale.
A few more things about this episode. A few more questions. Are we in the question phase now, or we start?
I think we're in the question phase.
Okay, so a few more things in this episode. Baby Yoda named Grogu.
Ray, yes.
His name is Grogu. Did reach out from the Force at the top of the mountain. Okay.
Yes.
We believe that his call was heard as obviously it stopped at some point. So there's a lot of speculation we'll talk about in a minute of who received the message. A lot of people saying things like Luke's hearing it. Oh, let's get this guy to play Luke Skywalker. No, don't want the Skywalkers in this universe. We've already been shown that that's not going to happen. Most likely, I'm not saying I wouldn't be mildly excited if Luke is in this universe, but I don't need it. So that's number one. More likely, as Ray will agree, it's Ezra Bridger. It's going to be more Clone Wars / Rebels characters. He is still out there. It could be also another surprise. There could be Force ghosts. That brings up a really good point. There's no reason Force ghosts can't appear in this show. If a Force being is near.
And they could easily do an original somebody else. They could easily just create a whole new character again if they so choose.
Or Ahsoka might show up again. So there's a lot going on there that he reached out with the Force. Who heard him? Another thing I want to bring up is once again we saw that Beskar spear. As Ray did not mention, but
this was a huge deal. The reason why Mando needs help tracking the ship is because, again, remember, folks, the Razor Crest has had a tracker on it for a few episodes now. That tracker, I imagine, was also a targeting beacon because with one turbo laser blast, the light cruiser fired a perfect shot and destroyed the Razor Crest into itty little baby pieces.
There's no more Razor Crest. There's only the Slave One.
Yeah.
There is no Dana, only Zool.
Fennec,
there is no Razor Crest, only Slave One.
So Fennec, Boba, and Mando are getting around on the Slave One, which, by the way, appears to be bigger now because Boba was just always piloting it by himself, but now you've got 3 people, I guess, in the cabin, all kind of cramped in there, just hanging out. So.
Well, that's not true because in the prequels, obviously Boba had or Jango had Boba there with him too.
That's true.
So there is multiple scenes, although you're right from I guess the original series. So here's the deal: the Beskar spear did make another appearance. I'm starting to think that spear is going to be a kill shot weapon for some major character of some sort.
Oh yeah.
Because he keeps finding it, he keeps reminding us that he has it. So I think the Beskar spear is going to be used in a fight again with the black saber. That would be my guess. The dark saber, excuse me.
Yep.
At the end, again, Ray said that we saw Grogu. I did it. Grogu using the dark and light side powers to fight before he was stun gunned by Moff Gideon, who had kind of a fun exchange with him with the darksaber. No, he made a great joke about "Don't poke your eye out," which harkens back to Episode 4 because Luke put the lightsaber right in his eye, but he didn't turn it on.
Yeah,
that would have been a funny ending.
Roll credits.
Roll credits. That's it. Star Wars is over. But yeah, look, who is the Jedi that was reached number 1? Number 2, and you brought this up. We have to remember that Boba Fett is a bounty hunter. Or was a bounty hunter. We don't know anymore. Who was obviously not sympathetic to the Empire, but has worked with the Empire. So when he says they're back, the Empire, even though he's killing stormtroopers, we don't really know where his allegiances lie. Now, personally, I don't want him to double-cross Mando, Din. I want them to work together. That seems like a childhood thing that I've always wanted to see.
Yeah.
Even though, Din Djarin is somewhat of a new character. I don't want the double cross with Boba Fett. I want to like him. I think he's earned that after 37 years of not being on screen.
Yeah.
I think he's earned some admiration from people. So I'd be a little upset, I think, if they twisted that. Even though I love twists like that. I love when people go bad and stuff like that.
Well, and also remember, Fennec is also a former Imperial officer also.
Right. Well, they're all bounty hunters now, and that's the idea, right? I do think we will see Bosk, which is part of Boba Fett's kind of
his gang
of bounty hunters. Which, again, if you saw Empire Strikes Back, when Vader is speaking to Boba Fett and all that entire gang, that is a gang. They work together. They're not. He didn't just bring people one at a time and say whoever gets them first wins. He hired Boba Fett and his gang to find at the time. What was it, Luke? Yeah. So or is it Han or Luke? Whatever, to find the Skywalker people.
Basically, I think it was all of them, right? It was basically like Boba wanted, exactly. Vader wanted Luke in exchange. Boba was going to get Han because of the bounty on his head from Jabba. So it was one of those things where Boba was kind of like, I can kill two birds with one stone. I can get Jabba's bounty on Han by helping Vader get his bounty on Luke.
So we don't know where it's going to go. Also, we don't know why he didn't take his armor back from Cobb Vanth earlier. That we might not get that answer, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, he might not have known that Cobb Vanth had it.
That's actually true. So another excellent episode. Again, leaving us with more questions than answers, but some idea of where we're going. 2 episodes left in this season. They've done a phenomenal job outside Frog Lady in that second episode. Seems like a wasted episode now, but Mandalorian continues to impress. People are saying, man, can it get much better than this? I'm gonna say yes. I have a feeling we're building towards something huge.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a little bit of a letdown, but next episode is gonna be more building, and then the season finale is going to be. I think we're gonna get another hour long kind of episode, and it's gonna be massive.
Yeah, I'm ready. They haven't let us down really yet. I've said it before, so. Mandalorian, keep it up, man. Jon Favreau, thank you. And again, I think I love that this is a Trojan horse to bring Clone Wars and Rebels characters into live action. Basically. Yeah,
it's great. It's fantastic. So
Grogu to Grogu.
To Grogu, yay, huzzah. We'll have frog legs for dinner in his honor.
Dark. Just not eggs, because that would be genocide.
Yeah, exactly.
Frog legs, that went away quickly, frog eggs. That went away real quickly once the episodes got really good again, right? Now nobody cares he was eating eggs. People are like, that was awesome.
Yeah, it's like...
right.
The internet has a very short attention span.
Nobody's upset at Moff Gideon for legit tasering a young baby. No,
and then putting baby shackles on him.
Yeah, put little tiny baby shackles and... Nobody cares about that, or that.
Which was also super weird and awkward. Like the stormtrooper is like, "We have shackles for babies," and
or the fact that Boba Fett just murdered 20 innocent stormtroopers. No problem with that. But no, those eggs, Ray. Cancel culture, man. Got to get woke on those eggs.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to be canceling anytime soon, and actually just subscribe to
HBO Max.
HBO Max, yes. I finally jumped in, took the plunge. I know you did too, actually.
I did. It was my birthday present when I was in quarantine.
Yes. There's actually a lot of great stuff on there. I watched The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air 30-year reunion. I watched Class Action Park, which as a 3-time survivor of the original Action Park in Jersey, was kind of like a badge of honor. And if you want to just understand Jersey culture from the era that I grew up in, watch Class Action Park. It explains it all.
It's one big psychological meltdown happening at once.
Yeah, that's North Jersey.
In the 90s, yeah.
Yep. 80s and 90s for sure. But also, obviously, big deal HBO Max. Reason why we got it was because Wonder Woman 84 is coming to it on Christmas. But also now, HBO and AT&T, Time Warner, that whole umbrella, has announced that their slate of 2021 movies are going to be dropping similarly both in theaters and day and date on HBO Max.
Huge news. Yes.
This is absolutely a bombshell announcement. This is... I mean, we've been saying it for a long time. This might be the beginning of the end of the movie theater industry. Because now... I don't know about you guys, but there really isn't much of a reason. The reasons to go to the theater are far undercut.
Here's what they're doing. Just to clarify. This is what's happening. They're coming out in theaters and on streaming, but it's only going to be on streaming for 1 month. And then it's
Right.
going to go back into kind of the vault until they get to that time period, which whatever we said it was just a few weeks. But I don't know if it's going to kill theaters. I think this is temporary. I think as soon as they can get these movies back in the theaters, they're going to do it, right, off of TV. But for the time period, if they make millions on it, no, you're right, Ray. It's going to change everything. They called this Operation Let's Piss Off Christopher Nolan. Which it did. It successfully has pissed off Christopher Nolan. It was also known as the secondary code name Operation AMC GO Buy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, look, I mean, and also what HBO Max is doing that's stunning is that, unlike Disney, they're not charging extra for these movies.
Nope, just have to subscribe.
Exactly. I mean, although, by the way, Mulan is now available for free on Disney Plus if you have it. It has gone out of its buy early period. But I think that the big thing here is that, I mean, look, movies were only in the theaters for a month anyways if you were going to see them. So, of course, I'm just going to stay home and watch them on my television. I don't mind if they go back into the vault 30 days later.
Right. Look, this is just as simple as Warner Brothers saying, look, we're not getting out of COVID till March at the earliest. We have a blockbuster. Yeah. People are at home. This is our last chance to do it. Yeah. Before there might be some alleviation because of the vaccine. It's inevitable. I'm to the filmmakers and the movie theaters. I get where you're coming from, but you didn't do anything to innovate. AMC's providing now, AMC theaters like streaming video on their app. It's like, guys, what are you doing? Like, what you're trying to play with the? What are you doing? You should have been revamping all your theaters during this. That's what you should be doing. Right. It's a natural progression. I love the big screen, but at the end of the day, because I've seen people on our page discuss this as well. Look, I love going to the movies. I love it. Okay, but you're crazy if you think there's not a comparable experience at home right now. Okay, this isn't 1997. It's 2020. You might have an 80-inch TV with surround sound speakers and get a pretty good experience out of that.
Yeah, right? and I would rather pay once $15 a month to get these movies than to go for a theater, pay $15 a movie plus popcorn, plus soda, plus everything else.
Yes, the industry has to change, and this is forcing it once again. This should not be a surprise. And again, Christopher Nolan came out and said that this is horrible and that my movies are made for the big screen. And I'm Chris, I'm with you. Your movies are made for the big screen. There also is a massive major pandemic going on right now, and people want to see movies, and this is a moneymaker for these studios. I don't know what to say. You put Tenet in the theaters. Okay, it did okay, I guess, considering what's going on. I'm still waiting for it to come on TV, and I want to see it. I want to see your movie. But
I'm sorry, dude, but your art is not worth more than my life.
Right. I don't know what to say with that. Again, I don't want to insult any filmmakers. I really do understand where they're coming from with this, but you got to be realistic. That's it.
I think that's exactly what it is. I mean, you need to, again, like you said it, you need to understand what's going on in the world right now. Like, we've got almost I think we're kind of recording this, we have almost 300,000 dead from this virus. Like,
so
that'd have been a lot of movie tickets too, Nolan. Like,
well, look, just quickly, the reviews are in on Wonder Woman 84. Every review's been good so far that I've seen. It's getting really good praised by people that it's a perfect movie for right now and that people are going to enjoy it. Not to mention all the other movies that WB has coming out. It's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine who says, I wouldn't pay for any of those. I'm like, I'd pay for like 7 of those. Yeah. In the theater. Mortal Kombat. I mean,
and that's what I'm saying. The fact that I'm going to get all these even for a limited time for $15 a month.
It was worth the purchase.
Totally worth it. Yeah. Totally worth it. Plus everything else that's on HBO Max. Like.
Yes, sold.
So it's the right move. It's the right move.
And we talked about this months ago, how we said, Ray, that HBO has something up its sleeve. It's going to start buying up properties, and it has done that. Yep. It now is rivaling. How do you say that word?
Rivaling.
It's a tough word. Yes, right. Yeah. It is now in the same realm as Netflix, and it was close before, but I said it wasn't quite there. It is now Disney Plus, Netflix.
Yes.
Hulu, whatever you want to, it's at the same level now, which they needed. So let the games begin. Yeah. Because now the clock's on Marvel to be like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. For Disney
we got to release something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you got to put Black Widow out. Although supposedly the rumor is that they are waiting for they're basically waiting to see how Wonder Woman does and what the numbers are for HBO Max, and then probably January they might be looking to drop.
I wouldn't
Black
be
Widow.
surprised if on Christmas Day, like, oh, you liked Wonder Woman? Guess what's coming? 2 days.
Yeah.
It's coming tomorrow. It's coming tomorrow.
Yeah, there it is. Black Widow. Enjoy.
Or right before Christmas Eve. Hey, for those who don't have Disney Plus, guess what's coming out tomorrow?
Yeah, exactly. That would be smart. It'd be smart. But you know what? Also smart. We got some casting news.
Yes.
He's and I'm happy with this because he's a huge fan of the series, and he said that before. But exclamation points above everyone's head. Oscar Isaac has been cast to play Solid Snake in a movie.
Yes.
Metal Gear Solid. I think this is a good idea as long as the script isn't written by Kojima, because that's usually a convoluted piece of trash. I think I'll be fine for this.
Yeah, look, it's a Batman type character. It's not really complex to play Solid Snake. He doesn't exactly have range. No. So again, like most video game castings, don't knock it till you try it, I guess. Like, we've learned our lesson so many times with characters like this. Yeah. Again, to me, this always comes down to a fundamental lack of understanding of characters. Solid Snake is, again, I said it again, not a lot of range there, not a lot of emotion there. And Oscar Isaac will, if anything, enhance the character. There's a lot of people who could have played him. This is not a wrong person to have chosen.
No, perfectly fine. I think Oscar Isaac's a great actor. I think that
also heavily involved in the sci-fi scene. Let's be honest about it now.
Yeah, he's one of us.
I mean? Yeah.
One of us. So one
of us. Okay. All right.
But other casting news.
Met Poe Dameron. That would not be Solid Snake.
That's not Solid Snake, no. Other casting news, and this actually has us a little concerned, but we've talked about this before. It has been confirmed. Kirsten Dunst, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Alfred Molina are all going to be in the next Spider-Man movie, reprising their roles.
Spiderverse. Yes.
In the next Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. This is again my theory. I've said this before. How does Spider-Man get his secret identity back in that universe? You have very old school Batman-esque. You have somebody else. You have other Spider-Men swinging through the city.
Right.
Proving that it didn't necessarily have to be him. They're not in the same place at the same time. Obviously with Doctor Strange 2, with WandaVision, with all this other stuff, Marvel's leaning into this multiverse stuff, and I think this is only going to go with it more. But Molina, I have some concerns with him coming back to play Doc Ock, even though he was amazing back in 2003
easily the best
or whatever?
Spider-Man villain we've had.
Yeah,
and that's not a shot at William Dafoe, who is also awesome.
Yes,
but Molina's Doc Ock was one of the best on-screen villains. I'm not just talking Spider-Man. He was one of the best on-screen villains, I think, in let's just say comic book movie history. All right, he was excellent. But Ray and I were discussing this earlier. Like, we all remember him and how awesome he was in Spider-Man 2.
It's been 15
that was like 15 years ago. All right, maybe like none of I haven't seen Kirsten Dunst since 2010. So like you know what I mean? Like we don't really know how these characters are gonna. I don't mean look in terms of beauty. I'm talking about just look. Like, Kirsten Dunst is 10 years older than she was then. I don't know how that's gonna play out.
Are they gonna be playing characters that are that much older?
I don't know what Tobey Maguire looks like anymore, to be honest with you. So that's my point, is that we don't really know how they're gonna do this or what they're gonna say. Let's just have a bigger conversation here, because like now you have a Spider-Verse, you have a Marvel multiverse, you definitely have a DC multiverse. Everyone's leaning into the multiverse idea right now. It's almost like they want to keep up with each other, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Ray, it's got me a little bit nervous. Yeah. In the sense of like, hey, someone's gonna screw this up.
I was about to say you're adding so many variables now that it gets easier to mess it up.
Right. And again, major names. Michael Keaton in the Batman universe. I mean, you talk about our Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire, and we don't even know what's going to happen with Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness.
Right.
So I'm just getting a little bit nervous about it, which is probably a good thing. Like I said, because all of these could be really good.
The payoff could be huge.
It could. In all of this,
this could work out and be amazing, and we'll be talking about, could you believe we ever doubted them?
But historically, Spider-Man has handled the multiverse very, very well.
Yes.
Okay? And he's always has, from the cartoons to the comic books to the Into the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales. Spider-Man has always done well with that. Marvel is a huge question mark in terms of the cinematic universe. In terms of the comic book universe, I wouldn't give it an A. I would not. I'd probably give it a good C. It's always been pretty average when you get the multiverse in the Marvel universe. Now, switching over to DC, usually pretty good in the comic books. That's what's funny about it. They're usually like a B plus, A minus when it comes to the comic book multiverses.
Yeah.
Right? But on screen, we've seen it on TV. So it's like, what's going to happen? So I like the anticipation that nobody knows what's going to happen. I would actually put money on now that Spider-Man has done this well for so long that it's probably the best bet to do it again pretty well.
Yeah.
But you don't want to overlook Marvel, and you really just pray with DC. I think this is how we look at DC. It's like, guys, if you screw up Michael Keaton's Batman somehow, we will never forgive you.
Oh yeah, we will. Right? There will be riots in the streets.
Now, with that said, the only thing I can live with is that Michael Keaton notoriously has protected himself as that character throughout his entire life. Yeah. And I just don't think he would have signed on for something if it wasn't true to whatever his vision is of, I'm Batman.
Right.
All right. So
that 7-foot statue that Warner Brothers decided to put up in the middle of a pandemic in Berkeley, we're gonna topple that over.
Right.
We're gonna push that over.
I do want to say that I hope the biggest problem that I have in 21 is that one of these was bad. I hope that's the biggest problem in my life.
Yes.
Which it won't be, but you know what I'm saying.
Right. No, for sure. For sure.
Godspeed, Spider-Man. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah. So that was an interesting movie news front. Comic books and movies. A lot of good stuff going on there. Moving into another favorite subject of ours is video games. A lot of wheeling and dealing, guys leaving, lawsuits, all kinds of craziness going. But the first thing is Microsoft makes another acquisition this week, and it's a smaller acquisition. But this, for the esports scene, is a big deal. They acquired a website called Smash.gg. For those of you who don't know, this started a few years ago as a tournament organizer for Smash Brothers, but quickly grew into one of the bigger organizers for all competitive games. And of course, obviously, Microsoft has these couple of franchises called Gears of War and Halo that have huge esports followings.
Just very small franchises.
Yeah, small franchises. So it feels like, those of us in the industry, it feels like this is Microsoft again bolstering their esports portfolio, having these guys who are expert tournament organizers. Again, Halo Infinite, by the way, was announced today that it'll be coming out fall of next year. Although people were up in arms with that, they're like, "Why is it taking so long?" It's because they've been through 3 directors in 3 years. That's why it's taking so long. But Halo will be out next year. Gears of War continues to get continuous updates. They're all fantastic. It feels like this is them gearing up for a real strong esports push, even more than they already are.
They're trying to take over the gaming industry. I've said it many times. This is just another piece of the puzzle. As you said, Microsoft is going for the jugular to take over and end the console wars and the gaming wars and be king of that multi-billion-dollar space. Yeah. Probably close to $1 trillion. It'll be close to $1 trillion by the time they're in charge.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, Nintendo's going to always have their section, but this is really Microsoft trying to make sure that they kind of force Sony into a corner. They're not, obviously, Sony may have won the last console generation, but they made some mistakes. They got cocky. Microsoft was humbled last generation, and it kind of made them rethink things. And in that regard, they're spending money to make money. They're acquiring a lot of studios. They're acquiring esports websites.
And to quote a young Anakin Skywalker, "It's working! It's working!"
Exactly. So this is a big. This may sound like a small acquisition, but look, when you look below the surface, this could be a portent for bigger things to come.
Right.
So, speaking of small little things, NHL 21 added the reverse retro jerseys to their game last week, but they still haven't added the Kraken. So
they don't exist in the game because they don't exist in real life yet, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Even
though
well
played, EA,
and they have jerseys.
It's not like you have hundreds of thousands of new fans in that area that would love to play that as their team. No big deal.
No big deal. I don't know if this is because they're in Vancouver and they're now sore over the fact that their fan base will probably cut in half because you'll have a bunch of folks jumping on Seattle. But honestly, guys, this is look. You did the bare minimum, adding the reverse retro jerseys in what is basically a copy and paste job from last year's game. And the fact you didn't add the Kraken is still...
Ray, you can do the Michigan goal now, so...
do the Michigan. By the way, if one more person asks me to do the Michigan on Twitch, I'm not playing NHL anymore.
Because that, by the way, that's what real hockey's like, friends. We do the Michigan 6-7 times a game. That's what real hockey's like.
Oh God.
I'm
You
lying,
know, you know what else the EA got hit with this week?
Yes, papers.
A lawsuit. Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
EA Sports has been sued in San Francisco by several gamers that might turn into a class action lawsuit over the fact that people are saying their games are scripting, which is not uncommon in games. It's called or rubber band AI, some might call it. You see this in Mario Kart, right? When you're winning in first place, you're winning easily, and then suddenly somebody gets a blue turtle shell randomly. Like it's to try and keep things competitive, right?
Right.
But because of the online aspects of FIFA and Madden in particular, these fans are discussing the fact that they feel like they are being cheated, and that it's also an attempt by EA to force people to want to spend real world money to buy new cards, especially in Madden Ultimate Team and FIFA Ultimate Team, in order to try to get their microtransactions back up, which are notoriously, the microtransactions in recent years have declined as they've put less of an emphasis on it after the backlash a couple years ago when people were saying this feels like gambling. So it feels just like EA, again, trying their best to squeeze every dime out of you for giving you a subpar product.
Here's what I will say, okay? And I've thought about this actually quite a bit, Ray. So one is this, okay? It's going to be almost nearly impossible to prove what this class action lawsuit is going to do, which is that, they're cheating us. It's not going to be easy to prove. And even if they did, is it illegal? Like that, and people go, well, it's not fair. That doesn't make it illegal.
Right.
All right. Like it's a video game. All right. It's like if you ever seen the movie Game Show, right, where they were giving the guy the answers. People said, well, that's not right. That's not fair. Well, it's an entertainment show. There's nothing illegal about them giving the guy the answers. Just the show is fake.
Right. It's just in even old school arcade games. They were designed to eat your quarters.
Now here's the thing. Let's just say all of it's true, and they're doing that. This is what I would say if I was head of a company like EA. I wouldn't say, oh man, they got it. I'd say, wow, our games are so subpar that people took the time to do this. Yeah. Because here's the truth. You can make this lawsuit every year going back 20 years, probably.
Yep.
Okay? It's that people are so fed up with EA's sports properties now that they're willing to they're willing to sue.
Yeah, they're so broken.
Right? So here's the deal. Make a better game where people don't care about this stuff anymore. Okay? Games are supposed to get harder as they go. But when it sounds like you're just trying to draw those microtransactions or find ways to get me to spend money after I spent $60 on your copy and paste.
Yeah.
All right, that tells you what you need to know. No, excuse me. We've been saying this for a few years with NHL. You're not listening to the fan base. You're not listening to what people want. You're only focused on the bottom dollar, which you'll get more of if you listen to your fan base.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a gross oversight, in my opinion, that your games are not fun enough that people are willing to sue.
Yeah.
All right. And again, that's it. Just make a better game. Go back to making great games. You've proven you can do that. Especially the NHL franchise, which used to win Sports Game of the Year every single year, like 6 years in a row.
Yeah, now
what is going on?
Now it's been even considered in 3 or 4 years.
Right. Like, so EA, just make a better game. Or as a gamer, this is what I want. Let the competition come back in.
Yeah.
Let 2K Sports, let ESPN start making games again so they can compete. Because that's really was the heyday of sports games when you were competing. But now there's a monopoly on it. No, it's trash. I've stopped buying NHL games a while back, and I'm the prime consumer for that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm a prime consumer. I'm a little older, but
still,
it's just annoying. It's just completely annoying and uncalled for, and you have gambling in some of these games. I'm going to call it what it is.
Oh yeah, Need for Speed. I called it out. The last Need for Speed that game came out. It was like If you had a literal slot machine in the game to get car parts.
It's ridiculous.
Are you kidding me?
All right, if you guys do a better job, this stuff goes away. That's it.
That's it. Stop being lazy. Stop being EA. Well, two guys who are going to stop being EA, two giants in the game industry, actually, Casey Hudson and Mark Dara, the guys behind Dragon Age, the last Dragon Age at least. They have left EA Bioware. They said, bye-bye, we're done. Good luck with Dragon Age 4. We are out. Now, there could be a lot of reasons why they went and did this. I mean, obviously, sometimes folks you need to change. But the fact that you have two of the biggest guys from the company leave at the same time, it a little couple question marks definitely come up for this. I think that and you also worry about Dragon Age 4, which is supposed to be getting a new trailer. Actually, the day this drops during the Game Awards, a new Dragon Age trailer is supposed to drop as well. At least that's the rumor. So right before you make your big reveal for when your game will, it'll probably be coming out next year, from what I assume. The game's been working on it for at least 3 years.
I wouldn't release anything this year. Do you mean 21 or 22?
2021.
Okay, so yes, within the next year, yes.
What I'm saying is, big trailer will release on Thursday or the day that the episode drops, and then probably next November is when they're going to target Dragon Age 4, and knowing those guys, it'll probably slip to Q1 2022. But that's probably going to be their target. But like right before a big reveal like that, it's unusual that two of the biggest guys in the company, two of the biggest creative narrative architects at the company decide to jump ship.
No, again, it's surprising everybody but us. It shows you like this is a titan that's about to fall or they're buckling, and people are leaving. So we'll see what happens. It's a great franchise, Dragon Age.
Yeah, I love Dragon Age.
And Mass Effect for that matter. You know what I mean? Right.
Yep.
So we'll see where that goes.
All right. So our last video game story. Speaking of Titans, I beat Age of Calamity this past weekend. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, and now
you're not the only one who beat it. I think you need to shout out somebody else.
I know, Logan. Logan beat it as well.
My son has destroyed a Zelda game on his own, thus making me the proudest father in the house.
I'm sure that he'll have many more great accomplishments over the years, especially in the video game realm. But I'm very
beat it with his mother.
Well.
He beat it with his mother. We are a family here where mothers play Zelda with their sons and fathers stay quarantined while that's happening because they have to.
Oh goodness. But yeah, no, I'm very proud of Logan as well that he beat it. But now, so unlike the original Hyrule Warriors, which was considered a non-canon game, and there are non-canon Zeldas, this had been hyped as a prequel to Breath of the Wild. Been hyped again and again and again and again as a prequel to Breath of the Wild, making people believe that this one would be canon. And all I'm going to say is that if this game is canon, Nintendo may have created another branching path. Now I have props today. I know Lee usually has the props, but I have props. So I want you guys to see.
For those of you listening,
this is the Hyrule Historia. This is the 25th anniversary edition.
So Ray is holding a Bible-sized book for Zelda.
Okay. Now this is up until about 10 years ago. This is the timeline. So basically, you have your original timeline. The three goddesses who represent the three pieces of the Triforce came down, made the world, including Hyrule, and then Ocarina of Time happens, and the timeline then splits in three ways. There's then a world where adult Link finishes off Ganon. That world continues to exist when adult Link goes back to his own time. Then there's the time period where child Link continues to live his life, having thwarted Ganon, because that Ganon, after he goes back and beats him in the future, Ganon in the past gets executed for treason by the Hyrulean king after Link is like, no, I went to the Temple of Time, I did this, and this, Ganon's a bad guy, and they kill him. That's actually what leads to the events of Twilight Princess. Then there is also a storyline where Link loses to Ganon in that timeline, in Ocarina of Time. If you lose to Ganon, and actually most of the Zelda timeline takes place in the loser timeline. This is a fact. 6 of the games up to this point take place in the loser timeline. 4 before the split, and then 3 in the child timeline, and 3 in the adult victorious timeline. So most of Zelda takes place, which is also why I personally believe that Breath of the Wild. Oh, I'm super geeking out here, folks. I've been saying it all day. I'm like there is no Pepe Sylvia from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm full Charlie Day here with this. The only timeline where Link
I just got that visual
failed,
him with the whiteboard and the
exactly, the whiteboard and the things that's me. That's been me the past few days. Basically, what happens, the only timeline where Link ever fails is this timeline. In the child timeline, he's always successful. In the adult timeline where he's victorious, he's always successful. Previous to the split, he's always successful. But since in the one timeline where he potentially fails, that timeline has several failures throughout it. And Breath of the Wild is based on the fact, by the way, that Link fails again. That's why he goes into a 100-year slumber. He has to go into the regeneration chamber. And Zelda, for 100 years, single-handedly has to keep Ganon at bay, trapped in Hyrule Castle.
Well, I mean, the game is named after her.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah. Zelda's... Look, we're gonna get into the whole reason why it's called Legend of Zelda. We can get into all of that. Trust me, I can break it down from the original Zelda to the new Zelda. I can go through the whole timeline. Trust me, folks. And by the way, I love that my light for some reason making me even hotter than I already am in terms of the light. It just seems to be like getting more brighter and brighter and brighter.
Ray is actually glowing now. For those of you listening, he is glowing like a piece of the Triforce.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I think it's real.
The Triforce of Wisdom.
Maybe it's that one. Yeah, we'll find out.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I would say that more than courage or power.
Well, the reason you never see Caitlin, you and me together is because all three pieces of the Triforce would then combine, and it would just be too much for people. You couldn't handle that podcast.
I think you're power, and I think Caitlin would be courage.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. So okay. So anyway,
thanks for calling me stupid, Ray.
I didn't say you say you're stupid.
Yeah.
I said you're evil.
So I'm sorry, Wisdom One. That's fine. I'll be Ganondorf in this. What are you trying to say? I have a big nose or something?
I never insinuate. I mean, you kind of do, but I never.
And I'm not courageous.
You are, but your overwhelming characteristic is your power.
I'm gonna make my own Triforce, where the three pieces of the Triforce are eating food, playing video games, and Star Wars.
Well, that would be my entire Triforce.
Hey, slow your roll. This is my Triforce, okay?
No, eating food, playing video games, and Star Wars would be me even more than you.
I'm going to make my own Triforce where the three things are hockey. I mean, my family's in the center. I feel bad now talking. Ray, we're going to
This is a fun question, by the way. Let us know below what your personal Triforce would be. I want to know in the comments.
Beer, football, and my Vince McMahon voice.
Yeah, The point is that Age of Calamity is actually a lot of fun. Spoiler alerts. The game has been out for almost a month, but I'm still going to do the spoiler alerts. If this is canon, the basic story, so I'm not giving much away here, is that Princess Zelda in Breath of the Wild, before she goes to seal Ganon and sends Link to the regeneration chamber, she sends a guardian back in time called Terraco. And basically, this guardian gives warning to Link and Zelda 100 years in the past, and so they're able to better prepare for what Calamity Ganon is going to do. Thus, the events of Breath of the Wild never take place. If this occurs, and if this is canon, Nintendo has again introduced a fork in the timeline where we could have more potential Zelda adventures.
Which is not a problem for anyone.
No, not at all. But now the question, of course, is where does Breath of the Wild 2 take place?
Well, and is that the new timeline? Is that the new story?
Exactly. Is it going to follow Age of Calamity, or is it going to continue the first Breath of the Wild? And again, is Age of Calamity canon? Nintendo won't give us a straight answer.
It's because it is.
It probably is.
Yes, because it's making lots of money.
Oh yeah.
You want to know if something's canon? What's the main canon? What's the prime timeline? This one made $40 billion, so it's that one.
We had our most successful October ever. Just before this.
What
game came out.
What do we do with the other ones? Just put the name Legend on it and move on.
Yeah,
I feel like this has been done before. Yes, Legend of Zelda 1, Legends. Wait, you can't say Legend twice. Just did. Moving on.
The Legends of the Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, right. Just slap Legend on the box.
Legends of the Hidden Temple, Legends of Zelda.
I can slap a guarantee on a box and guarantee. Can you guarantee? I'm thinking of Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, it's a guaranteed piece of SHIT. But
so yeah, I can close my Hyrule
wait,
Bible. This is actually old. This needs to be updated. Actually,
for those of you watching it or listening, go ahead, close the book, Ray. Ready?
Yeah.
Close it again. I just want to hear something. Ready? That wasn't me. That was the book making that sound.
Great job by Dark Horse, by the way. Dark Horse puts these out. They do a fantastic job with them.
Well, now you know what to get Logan for the holiday present. Wink, wink.
It's a good call.
You're welcome.
It's a good call.
He doesn't listen to the show, so.
There you go.
Future Logan, if you are listening back to hear your old man, and the year is 2071, I love you. And your sister. I hope I'm still alive. Let me know if you just listened to this.
So we're talking a lot about legends here, and that brings us to our next story, which we're moving into wrestling now. Sting has come out of retirement.
Yay.
Again.
Yay.
At 61 years old.
It doesn't overtake Boba Fett.
No, it doesn't by any means. Look, it was cool to see Sting there in an AEW ring, which is where obviously he's wrestling, and he's already got a new Sting AEW shirt. First time on TNT in almost 20 years. Obviously went to WWE just to get into the Hall of Fame and just to have a couple matches there. But I don't know. He's 61 years old. He doesn't... Look, Ric Flair wrestled until he was almost 70, but you look at the Undertaker just retiring now. Right. It feels like a weird move.
Here's the thing, Ray. This is what I'm going to say. Is the Undertaker retiring really puts to bed a whole era of wrestling entertainment. Yeah. Which Sting was part of. And here's the deal. Like the wrestlers from that era, from those past, Stone Cold's running his podcast, and it's great. It's fun. Yeah. You've given the Attitude audience a place to go to reminisce. You know what I mean? Like that's not part of the actual day to day. When it comes to professional wrestling right now, in any of them, not just WWE, all of them, it's time to get some new, fresh blood that's going to kind of lead everybody forward. This is nothing against Sting, all right, who has an accomplished career. Yes. But I'm tired of all these organizations leaning on the wrestlers of the past. Create the wrestlers of the future. Yeah. Okay? Bring in the new era of whatever that is. And figure it out. This is not part of the war to me. It's just a 61-year-old Sting. I mean, I'm sure he can still wrestle, but it's what are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, the sad thing is that it'd be one thing if he was coming in as a managerial role, like you see with Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson and stuff like that, or things of that nature. And there was speculation that he is coming to kind of pass on the mantle, maybe. They were specifically looking at Darby Allin, who's in his young 20s as a TNT champion. But at the same time, they also said they signed Sting to a 2-year deal or something. Yeah. So it's
he didn't come back for one night. Okay?
Right.
So that's the thing, and it's just the luster of that character is not gone, but it's just we know I don't know. It's a weird move. It maybe if you had the radar, maybe spiked the radar a little bit. Yeah. But I think ultimately that we got about as much out of that as we're going to get out of it. If you know what I mean. The bigger thing that happened with AEW this weekend, I'm only mentioning this because it is industry shaking. Right. AEW did say that they didn't want to just thrive; they wanted everyone in wrestling to thrive. Well, the final match of last week's AEW Dynamite was it's the first time. By the way, it's always awesome when a world championship changes hands on basic cable. Right. It's the first time this has happened for AEW, to my knowledge. Jon Moxley dropped it to Kenny Omega, although Kenny Omega had a bit of a heel turn and screwed Jon Moxley. Most folks, this had been hinted at for a while, but Omega went full heel to beat Mox. You never go full heel.
And then
you never do it.
And then the president of Impact, formerly TNA Impact was there. And Omega said he's going to bring the AEW championship to Impact on Tuesday night. So now after as this airs, this will have already happened, and I'll already have a full breakdown of what's happening. But this is huge because this is working. This is cross-promotional working now. And although AEW has hinted at this by having NWA champions come and wrestle on their show and kind of to build that brand, this is another chance for Impact and AEW now to work together and build both their brands. Right. And again, a rising tide lifts all ships. And Triple H responded by immediately saying WWE is open to this. We're open to working with our regular too, which is great, good. Vince said no, but Triple H said yes.
Yeah, no, I know why Vince said no, and I know why Triple H said yes. And That would be the smartest thing you could do is bring back the quote unquote Monday Night Wars, right?
Yes.
Except this time you're doing it together, which is kind of dumb that we all know that.
It's a big work. Exactly.
Right. Yeah, that would be. Can you imagine that if like wrestlers came from other shows and showed up like that? Like that was the pinnacle of the Monday Night Wars, was when a WCW wrestler would show up at WWF or vice versa.
Or even when Triple H with Shawn Michaels drove the tank down to Atlanta.
And they didn't open the gate. That's what sealed the deal for them. That's really when the tide turned.
Yeah.
Right?
No, for sure. That was a huge, huge deal. And like the fact that AEW is getting ahead of it and is kind of like, yeah, let's go on Impact on Tuesday night. We only have one show. This is a chance for us to promote our show on another network.
Everybody wins.
Exactly. Right. Plus, for Impact, now you got people from AEW tuning into Impact because we want to know what the hell Kenny Omega's going to do.
Exactly. I was just like, you never go full heel. You know, Stone Cold Steve Austin, full heel, turned corporate, didn't work. Yeah. People booed him.
Yeah.
Bret Hart, screwed over by Vince McMahon, people love him. You never go full heel.
Never go full heel. But speaking of heels, a sad note, our final note for the geek section this week. First ever Intercontinental Champion Pat Patterson passed away this week at the age of 79 years old. Pat Patterson, of course, was also part of the corporation. Him and Gerald Briscoe.
Legendary, though.
Yeah, absolute legend in the industry. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody loved him. No, everybody had nothing but a kind word to say to him, about him. Again, the first ever Intercontinental Champion he was as good as he was in the ring. He was even more instrumental backstage, booking guys, training guys, and he also was a big deal. He was one of the first wrestlers. He was much later in his life, but he came out as gay. And so this was he was breaking barriers until the very end, and. So this was a very, very big deal, and he is somebody who will be missed. Again, 79 years old, Pat Patterson. So that's our final geek note and our death of the week, unfortunately. So
right. So using wrestling, Ray, this is not on the rundown, but to transition into sports, because I don't know where this next topic, which again I'm dropping on you, I apologize, lands, but I think it is another transitional topic, and that is that Floyd Mayweather, very famous boxer, has agreed to fight Logan Paul, who is not a famous boxer. He is a YouTube reality guy that happens to box. So this is why I'm bringing this up, because I am not a fan of the Paul brothers. I haven't really hidden that. I don't think that they bring anything to society. I know that they are seriously trying to become boxers. I don't view them that way. I don't think they've won any fights that makes them a legit boxer. No. They've won funny fights. And this is how I look at it. Floyd Mayweather fighting Logan Paul is a big deal because it does bring Logan Paul into the professional boxing ranks if he goes the distance. All right? And this is what's funny about it. I have never liked Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Money Mayweather, whatever his name is. Yeah. I thought he was detrimental to the sport. Yeah. I think he knew how to sell himself, and I've always applauded him on that. Ray, this could be the biggest heel to babyface turn in the history of sports if Mayweather can just destroy Logan Paul, which I really hope he does. Because Mayweather, no matter how I feel about him, is a great boxer. Yeah. Okay? And he always has been. So, you know, with Pacquiao and all the people he's fought, now he's fighting Logan Paul. This is what I'm going to say. One of two things are going to happen. He is going to wipe the floor with him, which should happen. Yeah. Or he will stay evil, use this as a massive payday opportunity, and let Paul go the distance. Yeah. So that they can have some sort of money-making opportunity forever, 3 fights, blah, 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 blah. Right. Mayweather, protect your sport, man. Don't sell out anymore.
Boxing is already on its last legs, in my opinion.
Yeah. If you legitimize this idiot, and here's the thing, right? I'll actually be the first to say if Logan Paul puts up like a real fight, and if he becomes a real boxer, it's possible. It's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. I think it's improbable. Yeah. Mayweather, save your sport. Yeah. Please. I'm begging you. We have not had great world championship boxing in many years. Probably since Klitschko, if you're going to think about the heavyweight championship, the Klitschko brothers. Yeah. Save your sport. shut this guy up. Logan Paul is not a good human being.
No.
I have no problem saying that. His contribution to society has been detrimental in my mind. I know he's got a lot of fans and a lot of people that follow him. I don't think that guy's brought anything to the table of any substance. Mayweather, save your sport. Save America. Take out Logan Paul. By the way, will not be paying to watch it.
Oh, yeah, no.
No desire to watch it. Just want him to win so I can see the headlines. Because what Jake Paul did, we talked about this last week. It's a joke. It's a joke. All of this is a joke. Take these guys out. Thank you. Sorry, Ray. Do you see why I said that was like in the middle? Because it's like it's not really sports news. It's not really geek news.
Yeah, it was a solid transition
into
yes, the NFL Week 13 is here.
Lucky
we are fully into sports
13.
now. Yeah, lucky number 13 or unlucky depending on who you are.
Man, the NFC East playing spoiler to the whole league.
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
actually, right now as we're recording this, Dallas
if
and
we
Baltimore,
can't have winning teams, none of you can.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get into the whole division. But right now, Dallas and Baltimore are neck and neck. Baltimore just took a 7-point lead at 17-10 coming out of the half. So Dallas is staying competitive with the Ravens, which I did not see coming either. If Dallas
Bryant
pulled it
done
out.
for the year, by the way. Says he's out for the year. Des Bryant for the Ravens, used to be for Dallas, contracts COVID-19 and just tweets out, I think I'm done. I think I've had enough.
Well, that's fair. He tried the comeback. He made a few catches for them, in a few games. But, I mean, look, the Ravens facility has been an absolute petri dish. It's no surprise that he ended up picking it up. And I think that especially him two getting a little older, it's, when he made it. He made a valiant effort at the comeback. I've never had any ill will towards
No, he was always good.
Des Bryant, even if he was a Cowboy from obviously his great years. But, you just kind of figure it's a sad way for him to go and a sad way for his career to end, but it's been that kind of a year, and, happy trails, good luck to him in his future endeavors. Maybe he can replace Aqib Talib in the broadcast booth because goodness knows he's terrible as a color commentator.
We'll see. Let's talk about how the Pittsburgh Pirates Steelers are no longer undefeated after being defeated by the football team.
The Washington football team, yes.
The football team lost to the football team. Yeah,
it lost by 6. Roethlisberger, that team did not look sharp. You could argue the short week. You could argue the bad schedule with Thanksgiving. The honest truth is, folks, enough of that. I watched enough of that game. Washington came out, hit them in the mouth, and Pittsburgh didn't know what to do. Pittsburgh is not playing like Pittsburgh. Even Mike Tomlin, their coach, has said that. In the past few weeks, Pittsburgh was lucky to stay 11-0. They could have easily lost to Baltimore. There was a couple other games in that schedule. They could just as easily be 9-3 or 8-3 as they are 11 or 9-3 as they are 11-1. But Washington went in there. Credit where it's due. Alex Smith got to become comeback player of the year. Again, almost threw for 300 yards.
A decade.
Yeah, exactly. He's 3-1
the
now.
First year of the decade. I want them to give him the decade award right now for this 20 to 29 seasons.
Yeah.
That's Alex Smith. He's won it.
Yeah, I mean, he's 3-1 as a starter, 3-2 overall. He did lose to the Giants, but he came in relief of Kyle Allen after we broke another quarterback's ankle. But Smith is playing great. They have a running game. Their defense, which much like the Giants, has been good all year, led by Chase Young, who was the number 1 draft pick last year. Everyone knew he was going to be a stud. He was an easy pick for Washington, has come in and has been only though he only has a couple of sacks, has been very disruptive to everybody's offensive line.
Speaking of the Giants,
and speaking of the Giants, the Giants defense, they smacked around Russell Wilson, sacked him 5 times this past week as they, with Colt McCoy, who now is 8-21 as a starter in his career, got win number 8 against Seattle as he threw for only 105 yards, but the Giants defense stood tall.
I'm going to let you do it once. I'm going to let you say it one time because I know you've been waiting to get this out of yourself. With no more Ray rants. Now there's first place Ray, or tied for first place. I'm going to let you say it one time, Ray, just to get it out of your system.
Oh, you mean the G-Man?
Oh, God, that's annoying. I thought I could handle it. I couldn't. Don't do that again.
The G-Man!
Oh, God. Stop. You're
Tied
bringing
for
back
first
memories.
place, and
It's
honestly
so
now-
annoying. Who does that?
Now, a lot of people do, actually.
I know, you idiots.
Oh, God, you guys climb greased up poles whenever your team wins. You call us idiots? Come on.
You guys are idiots.
But yeah, so the Giants beat Seattle in Seattle. Look, the Giants did it old school. They did it with defense and running the ball. They ran for 190 yards. Wayne Gallman,
Vince Lombardi
135
would
of
call
that.
that hard-nosed football.
Yes. Another guy, by the way, who I said if they just give Gallman more touches, he'll start to turn some heads. And now that he's the number one guy without Barkley there, well, look at that. Kid ran for 135 yards. Kid's really actually doing pretty good. And I'm going to say something that's a little controversial.
Okay.
I think the Giants should trade Saquon Barkley in the offseason for draft picks.
That's ambitious. I'll tell you that. I don't think a lot of people are going to agree with you on that one. But I understand where it's coming from. I get the idea. So you think there's something to build from here?
Exactly. We need more. We need piece. We're a couple pieces away.
Yeah, quarterback.
Yeah, including a quarterback. Honestly, I legit think we are 2 offensive linemen and a quarterback away, and maybe another receiver.
Well, let's say this again. You have half of what you need, which is a lot. That defense is good. They look great. We've been praising them all year. No one here has said anything bad about the Giants' defense. Yeah. Offense is starting to come together a little bit, and guess what? You're winning games you're not supposed to win.
Yeah.
All right? Speaking of offenses not coming together, the Eagles dropped another game, and as of today, Jalen Hurts has been announced to be the starter for the Eagles against the New Orleans Saints this coming week. It's both a move that puts Carson Wentz on the bench to the delight of a lot of Eagles fans, to be fair. It's tough for me because he has tried so hard. He's just not playing well. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah. I like the guy, but it is time to give Hurts a chance. Also, Doug Peterson, head coach, knows that if this team has any chance of making the playoffs, which they still very much do.
In our division, they're only 2 back.
They need to start winning some games right now. He probably needs to justify his job a little bit. All right, the Eagles have been bad this year. I mean, just like most of the division. And we've said it. A couple of the teams have figured out some pieces. We talked about this many weeks ago about if some of these teams would just make trades for a couple major pieces. And, I mean, they didn't trade, but they're finding these pieces. Yeah. And all of a sudden they're winning. And like I said, Dallas wins tonight. All of a sudden you have a 3-way tie for first place. Yeah. And the Eagles are in last. It's amazing. This
if Dallas wins tonight, they'd be a game back still of Washington and the Giants.
That's right. But right now, as of tonight, the Washington football team and the New York Giants are leading the NFC least.
Yep, with 5-7 records.
And looking good. They're looking good. I wouldn't just say they're getting lucky. They're looking like, wow. Now we're starting to get with those two teams. We're starting to get into the realm of, man, if they make the playoffs, they might win a game.
They might be spoiler. They might play spoiler to somebody.
Yes, and I will say this now. If I have to allow Ray to say that annoying phrase more.
The G-Man!
God, it's so dumb. Oh, I'm going to send Gritty after you.
Bring it on!
No. As your friend, no, don't do that. He'll kill you.
I'll beat up your fat orange alien thing. I don't care.
Oh my God, Ray, you take that back right now.
No, okay. G-Man.
Oh man, the Phantom's really coming out of him now, friends. You shouldn't have said. Gritty will find you.
Yeah, okay. I'm alone out here in LA anyway. We'll use the company.
He doesn't know what he's done.
Anyway, there's
sleep
a lot
with
of
one eye open.
There's a lot of stuff going on in the NFL, though. The Jets look like they fired a defensive coordinator, but it looks like they almost.
That's the only sound that's more annoying than you going G-Man is just saying the name of that team.
Yeah, I know. The Jets look like they actually might have thrown the game because they did a jailbreak blitz in a Hail Mary situation. And guess what? The Raiders took advantage of that and win at the last minute to keep the Jets winless.
48-yard pass.
Yeah.
Just
50-yard pass.
Coverage.
50 yards from Carr, 46 officially to Ruggs.
Disgusting display of defense. Listen, if you're Jets fans, one of two things happen there. Either your coach is an idiot,
which
legit an idiot. Your defensive coordinators, someone's an idiot on defense.
Yeah.
Or they threw the game.
Well, I mean, with the fact that the players came out afterwards and they were just like, We ran the play we were told to run.
Oh,
we don't know why. We don't know why.
That's not. Listen, that is not acceptable for an NFL team. Okay, it's not acceptable. It makes me think you threw the game.
Yeah.
All right, and that's a problem for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, it's funny, but in 2020, somehow the NFL has found another way to question integrity with it's not COVID related.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, it's the Jets.
Yeah. And, what's funny is I think there's only one other team with one win. Right? Isn't Jacksonville the only other team?
Jacksonville has one win. They won the first game of the year and have lost 11 in a row since. And by the way, I also feel super bad. I actually feel bad for Sam Darnold because when that play happened, they cut to him and he just looked stunned on the sideline. They wasted that poor kid. They wasted him and his early career. I bet you, honestly, if Sam Darnold were going to play for a good team like the Giants,
that was just
he might actually not be that bad.
A good team would have a winning record, Ray, to be fair.
If we had Sam Darnold, I think we might instead of Daniel Jones.
So you want Sam Darnold dumpster fire, not Danny dumpster. Well, there's the trade right there. That'd be a great trade. That'd probably work out for both teams, too. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? A Subway trade? You take them. Get on the MTA and get the hell out of here.
It's the Subway. It's the same stadium trade. They They swap locker rooms.
Sam, we've traded you to the Giants. The San Francisco Giants? The New York Giants. Oh, okay. I guess I'll go across the street now.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, I genuinely don't know, but I do feel bad for Darnold. The rest of the league, though, a lot of interesting things. The Patriots have woken up.
Yeah, Pats did wake up. That was the biggest rout of the weekend.
They destroyed the Chargers 45-0. They are now 6-6.
Sean McVay is going to get fired. He's going to get, but the thing is, he's going to go to a team and be awesome. Yeah, he coached the Rams, right?
He's the Rams coach. Yeah, he's the coach of the Rams.
Sorry,
the Rams won with the Rams win and the Seahawks losing. The Rams are now in first place.
That's amazing.
They're 8-4.
He is not going to get fired.
Yeah, he's not going to get fired. You know what he needs though? Also, he needs a consistent quarterback because the reason why they're also 8-4 and they've lost a lot those 4 games is because Goff has been like this the whole year and he's been making the roller coaster motion with my hand.
I'm just going to say it. I don't believe in the non-Moneyball type stuff. I believe in sabermetrics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I hate old school thinking, but no team's going to win a Super Bowl with a guy named Goff. Yeah, it's just not. A guy named Goff doesn't win Super Bowls.
Goff.
Brady. That's a guy that wins Super Bowls.
Yeah, Montana.
Mahomes. Like those are guys that win Super Bowls.
Which, by the way, the Chiefs looked good again. They won with defense instead of offense this week. They beat Denver. The Chiefs look like they're the team to beat now in the AFC with Pittsburgh slipping. Also, watch out for the Buffalo Bills. They easily beat the Niners last night. They play Pittsburgh next week. That should be a good game. But if Buffalo stomps Pittsburgh, look out for the Bills.
Can we just really quickly go back to this geek thing? So just for those who might have missed the episode, we gave a lot of these quarterbacks Pokemon powers and names. Mahomes, Brady, right? Think about this for a minute. Goff. Or worse, Darnold.
Jones.
Yeah, I mean, Jones kind of works, right?
Maybe.
Wentz hurts. Well, that just makes a lot of sense. All right? I mean, come on, man. Like, Darnold. It's not going to, hey, Darnold. Doesn't work.
Yeah. No,
what's the worst name of guy to ever win a Super Bowl? That's a question we should.
Oh, man.
Right?
Roethlisberger.
Yeah,
probably Roethlisberger. Burger. Roethlisberger.
Trying to think, like some of these other names. Looking
at that. So you have Mannings, you have Roger,
that
you
works.
have 4
Manning.
2 Mannings.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, it works.
You got 2 for each Manning. Then you have Rodgers.
Who was the quarterback of the Ravens when they won?
Flacco, but not the other. No, not Flacco. The other
Flacco.
one. There's Flacco, and then there was also Dilfer.
Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer.
Okay, there's one. We found a name. But he didn't really do anything to help him win.
No, that was Siragusa in the defense. Siragusa, whose head was so big, it looked like his helmet was going to break at any second.
Yeah. What's that Pokemon? Name that Pokemon. Bart Star.
Yeah. Star, Namath, Unitas.
Yeah.
Dawson.
Unitas versus Namath.
Bradshaw.
You know who's never going to be on that list? Darnold.
Yeah.
Goff.
Yeah.
Goff.
Wasn't it Greasy with the Dolphins in the 70s?
I think so, but that's still
Brian,
a pretty cool name.
Bob Greasy, and his son was Brian.
Yeah, there's a reason why Doug Flutie never won. Flutie just doesn't work.
Yeah.
All right,
So.
and then you know, what was that other Miami quarterback? I can't believe it. Marino's a cool name. That should have won.
He should have won. That wasn't his fault. He got there
wasn't
once.
His fault.
But
he did. Wait, I mean, he won a fictional Super Bowl against the Eagles and Ace Ventura. To be fair,
that's true.
So he's got that.
Yeah.
Mahomes. Sorry.
So real quick before we wrap up the football section, one fun stat that I found out today that I wanted to put out there. Jameis Winston was the first 30-30 man in NFL history. 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions last year.
It's a great stat.
Going back to the first game of last year, so that's 29 games now. There's still, and mind you, he's been on the bench the whole year. There is still no one in the NFL who has thrown as many interceptions as Winston over the course of those 29 games. Closest is Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers has 29 interceptions in 29 games.
Wow.
Winston had 30 in 16.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So that's a fun stat for you folks.
And,
that's
and to close out the football, Baltimore just took a 24-10 lead in the third, so it looks
good.
like they may be moving ahead now. That looks like they got a ball back and did something.
Good. Then good to see them on
Ray,
track.
Ray and I do not like the Cowboys.
No,
yeah.
And that actually means Dallas will stay in last place where they belong. Anyway, moving on.
How about them Cowboys?
I guess Jason Garrett wasn't the problem down in Dallas. Anyway.
Oh, my God. Well,
I mean, he was a problem. Let's be realistic. And now he's
your
a
problem
here,
now.
And now he's my problem. Yeah,
Yes.
I know. The clapper. Interception. Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, anyway.
That was worth it. That was worth it to see that face. Make sure you watch this episode if you're listening.
Just go to that moment. Oh, God. Anyway, so that's the NFL for this week. Also, speaking of COVID, real quick, also no bubble in the NFL in the playoffs. They said no bubble.
Yes, brilliance. Because the NFL has completely eliminated COVID from their games except for every day.
Yeah,
idiots.
Except for every team except for Seattle.
Yes, it didn't work. No league showed that bubbles work. So why would the NFL do that? Because it doesn't affect them.
And now, speaking of the bubble leagues, let's that transition us. We'll start with basketball. The basketball preseason.
Yeah. Speaking of leagues where players actually have to go to college classes.
Yes. Yeah. So the NBA, very interesting. Their preseason is going to be starting the next couple of days. When this drops on Thursday, I believe Saturday is the first slate.
I'm actually looking forward to the NBA season.
NBA preseason. Yeah, and they are still on track to start, I believe, right before Christmas. I think the 22nd, I think, is their start
First
date.
time in modern history, the NBA starting before the NHL.
Yeah, so that is a big deal. That is very interesting. But they are having some problems. The Raptors had 3 positive tests up in Toronto, but they have been quarantined. They've been locked down. They are the only case so far reported for COVID people in the NBA, but everybody is being rigorously tested, and they are working on it. But something else that's interesting, and it's going to lead us into hockey in a little bit, is that the NBA announced that the league is going to be giving $900 million. It's $30 million per each team. Money. They're giving them $30 million, each team $30 million to help offset the loss of ticket gates that they're not going to have, because much like, most of the leagues, they're not going to have attendance. There's going to be no attendance allowed in the NBA arenas. So it's a very interesting move by the NBA, but it also makes sense that almost $1 billion of their revenue this year from their TV deals and from merchandising is going to be put right back into the teams to make sure that these teams are doing okay, considering how much tickets they're going to be losing at the gate. So yeah, Lee, what are your thoughts on the NBA preseason about to get underway on that move by the league with the money?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right, every league, and we're going to talk about this with the NHL too. Every league's going to have to make some concessions here with the situation. I think it's just important. I'm a business person. I've been on both sides of those types of arguments. You have to make a sustainable situation financially. All your fandom, I'm talking to sports fans out there. I get it, but you have to make a sustainable financial future for your league, or you're going to have major problems moving forward. Yeah. So let them try things. Let them look at things. Let them figure these things out. And make sure that the money's flowing, because if the money's not flowing, their games aren't going. I'll just make that up right now. All right, and I do not see how these leagues are going to make money this year outside their broadcast contracts. So they're going to have to try and be creative.
Yeah, broadcast contracts and online merchandise. That's about it.
Right.
But, I think it is. Both leagues, both the NBA and transitioners in the NHL, have said they do expect a return to normalcy by the following season, which would hopefully be towards the end of 2021.
Which is fair. Let's just be honest. That's more than fair.
Again, we talked about at the beginning of the show. We do have a vaccine now that should expedite, knock on wood, things getting back to normal. So, so probably one more year of weirdness or one more season of it.
Well,
then
just uncertainty. We'll say that.
Right. And that brings us to the NHL, which just recently, today, announced that the talks are progressing. They seem to have hammered something out, an agreement. But it looks like they're targeting a January 13th start date to the league. It'll be either a 52 or 56 game schedule.
They're leaning towards 56, which is great, which is a great schedule. I mean, look, again, the NHL had its own financial woes here. I believe the owners want to take a 20% pay cut or to freeze the salary cap for the next 6 to 7 years. Mm-hmm. I think what happened here is the owners and the players they couldn't come to a conclusion. Like, look, let's just get the season going, and we'll figure kind of some of this out after that because they have to plan it. We have to plan a start date, which they've done, all right? It's the same boat. We just talked about this. If there's no fans in the buildings, you're missing an incredible amount of revenue.
Yeah.
All right. And again, I listen to fans. I hate to sound. I do sound a little condescending here, but I've studied this stuff. All right. I listen to fans all the time. Say, it's just about the money. And it's like, yeah, it's about the money. I don't know what to say to you. It's a professional sports league. What I can say to the professional sports league and the players is no one's going to have any sympathy for you right now if you don't figure this out. Because of that. But I do understand the need to make money. So break even, keep the sport going, find new ways to make revenue streams, get a great broadcast deal, and get hockey back on.
Yeah.
All right? And unfortunately, I'm going to say this, that the NBA and the NHL will not be able to go as flawless as they did in the playoffs.
Right.
Just because they will not be bubbled 100%. But look, I tend to trust the hockey players and basketball players with this. They've done a great job. They really have.
Yeah.
They've been a shining light of how to fight this thing. The NFL and Major League Baseball have been the opposite of it, continue to be a shining light. I will also say that, this is a side note, but once again, ESPN strikes with their just lack of hockey knowledge. Yeah. They put up the proposed hockey divisions and literally left a team off the list. They just forgot to put the Flyers on the list. Left them off.
Are you kidding?
No, they put that on the TV screen. Our producers actually posted it already on our group Elimination Cafe. They just forgot to put a team on there.
ESPN's
ESPN, your hockey coverage is atrocious, and it's
most
a
of
joke.
their coverage is atrocious.
It is, but it's like, listen, here's the deal I have with ESPN. I'm way past the hatred I used to have for them for their lack of hockey coverage, which was really just a slap in the face to hockey fans. But people still go, what hockey fans? There's hockey fans? Yes, there's millions of hockey fans out there, and we have our own networks now, so I don't need to hear any of that crap. But listen, ESPN, there's a bar that should be set for your organization, the worldwide leader in sports. You cannot just forget a professional team and leave them off a graphic.
Yeah.
Okay? So with that said, it sounds like there's going to be 4 divisions, a Canadian division where those teams just play each other, and then an East, West, to Central. NHL, I think it's safe to say you can trust the NHL to do something right, to try things.
Yeah.
I like that they're not being married to their old divisions or anything like that. Let's just find a way to play hockey and get it out there, and people love that. And yes, I agree. I love the idea of a Canadian division. I think that's going to be great for Canada.
Yeah.
It's going to be literally Hockey Night in Canada every night.
Yeah.
All right. And,
no, it should be. It should be a lot of fun. It definitely should be. I mean, that would be the odd division. That would be the 7-team division.
Yeah. Which would be cool. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so ESPN, Flyers are a real team. Believe it or not, they've won 2 Stanley Cups in a row. They deserve to be on the list in a row. So anyway, let's keep going here.
So that does it for us on our sports section for Geeks Who Like Sports. We're moving now into our question of the week. It's
the question of the week. Lee's not sick, so he can sing the question of the week. That's no more COVID here because we have the question of the week.
Yes. So this was a fun one. This was actually something that me and Lee just kind of came up with it. We were just talking. This happens when we just talk sometimes BS over the air. We're like,
yeah, imagine that after 20 years.
Yeah, I know. And we're just like, and then I said something, and then Lee was like, that would be a good question of the week. And I'm like, that would be a good question of the week. So now it's the question of the week. So we were talking about how Super Mario 35 is going away at the end of March.
Yeah. Or more appropriately, dun 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 dun.
Yeah. So it's gonna go
bad, but you knew what it was. So
yeah, it was all right. It was all right. You're still recovering. We'll give it to you. But yeah, no. As if those of you don't know, Lee just did kind of like the Mario death thing for the NES.
That was better.
That was better. Mario 35 is going away. Obviously, though, Tetris 99 is also still out there. And the idea of doing Battle Royale with these old school NES games.
It's so fun.
They are terrific.
Yeah.
They
it was
are
fun until people got really good at it. Then it's just impossible to win now.
No, yeah, exactly. I won a bunch like at the beginning because like muscle memory took over.
You were smart. You got on there and won. You're like, yeah, I did it. Done.
That's it.
Now
done.
There's like,
all right,
like
bye.
Speed players that are like incredible.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely unbelievable.
I saw one guy that had a 635 wins, not streak, but wins on that thing.
Yeah.
And he had streaks going. It was just a super retro game time. He's actually really fun to watch, by the way. But this guy's like a wizard on this thing. He's won like over 600 matches. It's incredible to me.
Yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable. So my thought is, what other games would you like to see get this kind of treatment? And of course, my immediate suggestion was...
Which was awesome.
Mega Man.
Mega Man would be awesome.
Give me a Mega Man. I don't know what to call it. Mega.
Wait. So real quick, I do want to preface this for the listeners. So for those of you who have played Mario 35, you know the game. For those of you who haven't played it, one of the really great things about so the idea is that you're playing Super Mario Brothers, and it's a battle royale, but you're trying to live as long as possible. Whoever lives the longest wins. Yeah. The cool part about it, and Ray, I just wanted to clarify this part, is that as you kill enemies, they go to other people's screens. Right. So if you're killing Goombas, that's going to end up on someone else's screen.
Yeah.
If you end up getting Koopa could show up in any level on your screen.
Yeah.
Right. So as the game goes on, it gets harder and harder and harder.
Yeah.
And there's more and more enemies. And again, strong enemies like Koopa might show up in World 1-1. It's amazing to play. So just want to give that.
You get bloopers that suddenly start going through the sky no matter what the level is if you kill in the water level.
I'm bringing this up because it's very important to understand that concept when you're playing a Mega Man. If you're playing Mega Man, all of a sudden these bad guys start showing up from other levels.
Yeah, all the
and you don't have certain powers.
That
could be amazing to play. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be a huge, huge deal, I think, if you had like a Mega Man style game that did this. I don't know if you call it Mega Man, 30, 50, whatever, however many you could get going at once. Right. And also, how many Mega Mans would it be? Would it be just the original? Like this obviously is just the original Mario Brothers. But like Mega Man, I think even more than Mario, has so many games that could lend itself to this. And people argue all the time, well, is Mega Man 2 better? Is Mega Man 3 better? What about Mega Man X? Personally, I feel Mega Man 3 is first off the best of the originals. And
Mega Man 3 is easily the best with the best music.
Yes. Oh, completely. Hands down.
Yeah.
And then Mega Man X, I think, obviously with the new generation for Super Nintendo, I think is right behind it. But... I
used to jam out to the Mega Man 3 theme song.
Oh my god, me too. Oh, definitely.
I'll spare you all at home. Just go listen.
No, it's fantastic. Yeah, and look, I get Wily's theme gets a lot of love with Mega Man 2, and it is good. Don't get me wrong, but Mega Man 3 as a whole, from the opening credit to the last level, like Mega Man 3's
song.
music.
It's a heavy metal song, and I'm a heavy metal fan, so it was awesome.
Plus, it had Snake Man, which was cool.
It did.
That was a crazy level. Anyway, Mega Man is what I would like to see get the Battle Royale treatment. Lee, do you have a game?
Yeah, look, there's a lot. Like I want to get some obvious ones out of the way because these are not my picks. But Sonic the Hedgehog is kind of an obvious game to see something like that. It's the same exact format. But my pick, and this is a very cliche pick, but it's something that I actually think we're gonna get. And it's Legend of Zelda 35, which is next year.
Yeah.
You could totally have a Legend of Zelda version of this. Yeah. Again, it's not World 1-1 per se, but like you could start at different places on the Hyrulean map and try and survive. I think that would be really fun to do. Again, for those who don't know, Legend of Zelda turns 35 next year, and they are clearly. By the way, side note: I am praying that we get an Ocarina of Time for the Switch. or something like that. I don't care how many times you want to remake that game. It's timeless. So yeah, I'd like to see a Legend of Zelda 35 Battle Royale. Also, again, sorry to be cliche, GoldenEye. That would be so much fun. Can you imagine if like 5 odd jobs started popping up on your screen at the same time? That would be amazing, right? So like, again, it's a little harder to do with an N64 kind of early 3D game.
Right.
But I was thinking about like that would be really fun, right? Or maybe even a war game of some sort where,
how about like a Super Star Wars?
Right. That would be really fun too. Like again, some of those old ones, Kirby's Dream Land would be fun. Yep. They'll never make that just because, but like it's not as powerful as Kirby is. He's not as powerful as that. But yeah, I think Sonic is the obvious kind of like next choice. And I think that Zelda, I would love to see a Legend of Zelda 35 in some battle royale form.
I mean, people trying to figure out how quickly to get through the dungeons and labyrinths to send Dodongos and other major enemies after you. Right. Like, we know how much of a pain in the neck the Lionels are. They are just as much of a pain in the neck all the way back in Zelda 1. Yeah. Like, you could easily send those after people. Right. Like, not easily, I should say, but if you sent them after people and they fill up the screen, like, holy cow, that could be really
fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun. But yeah, if you have a Switch and you haven't played Super Mario 35, it's really fun. It's really fun. It gets intense too in a fun way. And you don't feel bad when you lose. I mean, you'll have that like, let's do it again.
Yeah.
It's a shame it's going to go away, but it was brilliant.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they're going to let it go away.
Listen, I get it. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why it's brilliant. Because people wouldn't play it if it wasn't going away. There is this overwhelming sense of just, I got to get these games in now because I'm never going to get to play it again.
And how many online subscriptions did they sell because of that?
Right. And if they can continue to provide value like that over and over again, and this is what Nintendo does so well. They find a good, wholesome reason for you to continue. It's not just a money grab for, you know what I mean? They rethink it. I've never seen anything like this game.
No, it's true.
And it's brilliant. I mean, I'm sorry, that's not true. They have had other battle royale type games, but I've never seen anything like this. This is something.
Yeah, it's. I mean, even Tetris 99. Tetris has always had a multiplayer component. You just never had. Not always, but like where you would send bricks over to other, or the Tetrinos over to other players. You could do 2-player or 4-player versus, but 99 at once was really the twist. But to do that with the original Mario Brothers is absolutely
brilliant, nostalgic, fun. I mean, just Nintendo doing what Nintendo does best. So I'd love to see a Sonic version of that, but I think Zelda's my pick. It's just by a hair, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just by a little Master Sword, just his little tiny little Master Sword.
Yeah, so we want to know what you guys think.
But we want to know what you think.
Yes.
Sorry, it's my thing.
Comment below. Let us know what you guys think. What game would you like to see get the Battle Royale? What classic game would you like to see get the Battle Royale treatment? And comment below. But that does it for us here at Geeks Who Like Sports.
Wow. This show's a lot easier to do when I'm not dying.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say. I'm going to be honest with you. That was much easier than last week.
Yes, for sure. We were able to definitely extrapolate on things a bit more as normal. We still had a good show last week, but definitely
we did. But there's a lot.
Buddy.
There's a big difference in my energy now and last week me being like, yeah, that's right, Ray. I mean, Mario's great. Mario's a great game.
Yeah, you turn into Bill Belichick when you get COVID. So
we're on to Cincinnati. We're on to next week's episode.
On to Cincinnati. On to episode 87.
We're on to episode 87. Ray had a great show today. He did his job. He played his game, and we're on 87.
Yes. So for the end of us here at episode 86. I want to thank you all for listening. As always, be sure to join the Facebook group. Find us on Twitter at Geeks Who Like SP1, also on Instagram. You can email us, either Ray or Lee at geekswholikesports.com. But for Lee, I'm Ray. Thank you all so much for tuning in to episode 86 of Geeks Who Like Sports. We will see you next week with episode 87. Until then, good night, everybody. Have a great week.